Okay. Fine. Okay. Good morning. I'm just joining today. Shulchan Zion. Din of a chotzer, and the sewage line, of what to do with sewage on Shabbos or whatever. Chotzer shepechusa midal amos adal amos. The chotzer which is less than daled al daled, she is samucha l'rishus harabim, and it's next to rishus harabim. Ein sheifchin l'seicha mayim b'Shabbos. You cannot spill your dirty water into that chotzer on Shabbos v'Mosachama. During the summer, kivin she'ein daled amos, ein sasayim mayim she'adam osir lishtamish b'chol yom, roi levali ba. So issues like this. The problem is there's a din that if you go ahead, if I spill water on the floor, obviously if I roll a ball, in my chutzner and with kavanah to get it out to Rishus Harabim, it's pashat your person's chayiv. That's chutzah. If I roll a ball and then that was that kavanah, and it also goes out to Rishus Harabim. It's also usher. The question is over here. It's what's called koicher. Koicher is not when like you said, if you roll something into Rishus Harabim, that's more than koicher. But koicher in general throughout Shas and whatever, koicher is not his direct. For example, like shooting an arrow is not koicher. That's in like kilo taking a weapon in his hand and attacking someone. But going ahead but doing something which is slight byproduct of his force is considered koichoy. So therefore, by pouring water on the floor, because you're trying to dump it over here straight on the floor, and then it washes out to Rishus Harabim, it's called koichoy, which is also usher. Now the thing is that the Chaim said that people used to have a small chutzner where they used to pour, or in the chutzner itself, they used to pour their dirty dishwater, bathwater, things like that, and it would and it would soak up in the ground. It gets soaked up in the ground. Now, what they said is that if it's dal amos or dal amos, so then there's makom for a person to go ahead and to pour sa'atayim mayim, which is what the Chachamim were meshayar, how much a person uses during the day for taking a bath or for these types of things. So Sa'im Mayim is about 16.5 liters, which is probably around 16 quarts, something like that, of water, and it can get absorbed in dal amos of ground. So therefore, we're choshish. If you go ahead and it's not going to be enough to absorb, you're going to pour it in. It's not going to absorb. It's going to spill out to Rishus Harabim. So it's a problem. L'kach tzarech lasos guma. You have to make a hole. Shtehei chalala b'chzekas asayim. You have to dig a hole in this spilling area that it holds asayim mayim, which like I said is about 16.5 liters. The Rambam gives you how deep to dig it. Whether you make this hole inside the chutzner or just outside the chutzner in Rishus Harabim. If you do it outside your property, and you have to cover it with small beams of wood. It has to be a makom p'tur. You're allowed to be motzi stuff into a makom p'tur if you don't have kavanah for it to go into Rishus Harabim. So it has makom p'tur. The pshat is that the people of Rishus Harabim has to be raised from the ground. People aren't going to just walk right over it, and so that would be called a makom p'tur. V'yiplo b'mayim miyadav l'makom p'tur kimin sheyasa guma, since you make a hole in the ground, yachol lishpach b'kol mashayir, so you can pour whatever you want in it, even more than sasayim. V'im enem achzekas sasayim, because then already anything that spills out is a davar she'enem miskavin, and it's not even a psik reisha, because it should get absorbed. V'im enem achzekas sasayim lo yishpach, if it doesn't hold to sasayim, you can't pour anything into klal. V'im yesh b'chotzer dal al daler, if there's arba, afilu arich v'katin. It doesn't have to be a square. It could be long, or it could be rectangular, whatever it is. Obi mosel kshamim, or if it's in the winter, b'chotzer, kol shehu mutter. And if it's in the winter when everything's wet anyway, so therefore you're gonna pour it there. You don't care if it's in your chotzer. You can pour whatever you want. The chotzer, the achsadra, chotzer and an achsadra. Pirish vaysheish gimel defanois. Achsadra is a structure that has 3 walls. V'doven dalish v'amidim bo deles ena mikofefes kol ikr. There's no door jamb or anything like that. Ela berachvo shal bayis kulo. It's completely open. Sometimes they put some sort of a little bit of barrier, a small achsadra would be something dumb, like a garage or something like that. Which, okay, now we have garage doors, but let's say a garage without a door, that they used to do stuff there, or a shed, some sort of shed, whatever, something like that. If you have a chotzer here and a chsadra in front of the chotzer, and the chotzer is less than dal amos, it's 2 amos and the chsadra is 2 amos, and the chsadra is sticking out from the chotzer. So then, mitztarfim to l'dal amos, it's called mitztarfim l'dal amos, l'hatir lishpoich b'hem. So you can spill water in the chotzer, or the chsadra if you want. Hagav hu adin shtei dutos shelifnei shtei aliyos. So too, if you have 2 posts or 2 like a landing or something before like an upper floor. V'aleim aziva sheroya mayin livlo behen. You have a absorbent roof, some sort of absorbent material on the roof, or the tar or some sort which absorbs. Mayin livlo behem imheim smuchois zuluzu mitztarfos. Then the mitztarif to you have two yutos, 2 sections, and they're 2 amos by 2 amos, and they're mitztarif, and the Ramah holds that there has to be that they are absorbent, and then even if you pour from the aliyah, you're on the 2nd floor, you pour onto that roof, it's okay. This is only talking about a chotzer which is next to a Rishus Harabim. But if it's next to a carmelis, if it's right next to a carmelis, you don't have to worry about spilling out. Meaning you're not in it has to be Rishus Harabim mamish, which I'm sure we got into exactly what's Rishus Harabim, but nowadays the streets aren't a carmelis, it's not the makom to get into it, but al kopanim, and then you're allowed to relax on the gzeira. Beis bib shebechuse. The bib is a sewer line. It used to be a half pipe. It used to be not a full pipe. Shebechuse dal amos b'meshech Rishus Harabim. It's covered dal amos, and it flows through Rishus Harabim. Yesh bil dal al dalid, and it has enough that it's at least also dal amos. Why mutar lishpach afilu at least dal amos, meaning the area is at least dal al dalid. Mutar lishpach afilu al pi habib. You can pour straight onto the mouth of the pipeline. Afilu b'mos lachama. Avish shamayim yoytzi miyad miyado lachos. Even though it goes, let's say the openings in your chotzer, even though it goes straight out, bilvad shelo yeh silon shel eitz she'ena mayim ruyim levlo. As long as it's not a wooden pipe, so that the water won't get absorbed. But if it's like what they explain is like a cobblestone, like we have here in Beit Shemesh, at least there's bricks on the floor and there's sand in between, and that since there's dirt, it's packed in with dirt. It's really the floor. The water will sink in between the stones. So if you made some sort of brick, some sort of structure like that, the floor has sand in between, so that's okay. V'shari v'larambam afilu haya orach haviv or tzinu meya ama. Even if the thing goes for meya ama, it goes far away. Lo yishbach al piv v'yimos achama. You still cannot spill it in yimos achama. in the summer. El shofet chutz leviv, you can pour it outside the viv. Vehem yordin leviv, and they will go down into the pipeline. That's when the water goes out to Rishus Rabim. But if the pipeline, the sewage line goes to the Carmelis, you can pour it straight into the Biv, even according to the Rambam. Even according to the Rambam, and that's okay. Some say that there is no difference. However, right, that, so some say there is no difference. The Dafka Carmelis, the Mechlach Rishus Rabim, Atzma. It's Dafka Carmelis we're talking about over here, the Zochilik, is where we're talking about where the Rechovos, a Carmelis, a side street, or whatever it is, in Rishus Rabim. Afilu B'zvan Hazeh, the less Lam Rishus Rabim, even in Zvan Hazeh, we don't, have Rishus Rabim, about Carmelis, she bechutz le'ir, but we're talking about the forest or something like that. A chaser she'enu mu'reves, it's just a chaser that's not, that he didn't make an eruv with Shari, it's Pashut Shari. The only time we're being machmir is as a Carmelis, like I said, a side street, so that, an alley, whatever it is, so there, because Daimon to Rishus Rabim, you might come to, we don't want, that's where the Gzeira is, but however, Chatzor Shein Merevis, or like a forest or something, is mutter. Ve'ir hamukefes chayma lo v'lo irvu ba, a city which is a wall surrounded by a wall, and they didn't do an eruv. Chatzor Shein Merevis domi, it's also Chatzor Shein Merevis. Ve'im hatzino lamala me'asara if the pipe is built above 10 tfachim, then it's a derech makom patur. The Carmelis yeshachokel according to the Shita v'chein iker. So too, the Orach Chaim already talks about sewage lines, pipelines in his time, and he says the fact that they're under the, first of all, the Dalal and they're under the ground. It's definitely considered a makom patur, and the fact that they go out of the city and they go to, the sewers or whatever, he said that's pashut, that there's nothing to be chushish for, and therefore that would be mutter. Okay.
So now this bib that we're talking about, the bib is just karpef or stone.
Or it's or whatever, yeah.
Because if it's a pipe, then it's like eggs. No?
Right. It's right. It has to be that it's either just like a trough or right. So talk to the ceiling show. It's a different. Yeah, there's different types. I don't know if they do. Yeah, I don't know exactly how generally it was constructed, but right. If it's made, it was no. Right. Yeah, right. If it's plastic. Again, it's not something again nowadays, but Louis, so your person's up in a campground somewhere, I don't know, and does something like this, whatever, I don't know. So then, if it's plastic also, it'll probably be a problem, so something absorbent. Shin and Ches, then get to starting the din of Bekafus Ladira, which is the din of called Karpef. Let's see, Kol Shlo Hukaf Ladira, anything which is not Hukaf Ladira, anything which Ginos the Pardesi working there. We're talking any structure area which is they built. We're going to see in Sif Beis, the Beit Bekitzer is that they built a wall to protect this area, and then they built a house there. So that's called not Hukaf Ladira. You didn't put a wall there for a dira. You put it there to be shomer Ginos Pardesim or Virganim She'enim Osim Ela Lishmar B'Seichan. That they have, and they have, you have like a garden or paradise, whatever it is, and the only people living there would be guards to watch what's going on over there. That's not called Asur Chachayim L'Talta B'Seicha Yosef V'Dal Amos. Even though it's mukaf, even though there's a wall around it, it's still Asur to B'Talta B'Seicha V'Dal Amos Yosef V'Sa'asayim if it's bigger than when Sa'asayim, which I'll give you the share. The Sa'asayim is according to Chaim Noah, is 30. It's about approximately 34 by 34 meters. So if it's larger than that, then it turns into there's an issur. Even if it's inside an eruv, even whatever, you can't be metaltal in it. If you have a wall there and you're saying that you can't, it's like a carvilus. And if it's sa'asayim, if it's sa'asayim or less, like I said, it's 34 by 34 meters. So then that's you're allowed to go ahead and carry inside. Doesn't make a difference. Vein shehu maruba, vein shehu ogle, whether it's square, whether it's a circle. Or orach or katin, or it doesn't make a difference if it's long or whatever, or short, wide. However, even if it's less than sa'asayim, it has to be that even if it's a rectangular, that the length is not more than double the width. If even more than one, even they can attach one more amma. However, if it's hukaf ladira, like regular houses with walls, whatever, even if you go ahead and this property is let's say is kama milin, you have a farm, I don't know, whatever. House in Beverly Hills, I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're getting to a city, right. I'm saying that in a simple case, or obviously a city, and you want to go ahead and they talk about a city that we'll see in a second, the Rambam talks about a city, then that's mutter than to carry inside. Hagav ayin l'kalman sim taf aleph din stam ayaros. And over there it says Stam Ayaros, a city, is generally hukaf l'dira. They didn't put a wall up and then decide, to build houses. However, a fort, even if inside the fort, let's say you're in Texas and you want to go into the Alamo or something like that. So that would be allowed to be considered hukaf l'dira. There are forts in it. So also, even if people are living there kavua, it's not, that's not called hukaf l'dira. And therefore we also taltel if it's bigger than Beis Hasayim. Veish omrim the stam karpifos shelanu mikre mukafos ladira. Some say that our karpifos are mukafos ladira. The regilian liftoach pesach tchila. The general way people make it is that they open a pesach first. They create a door first, then they put a wall. The point is, it's not like to protect anything, because there's nothing to protect. You put a wall around, and there's no real, proper entrance way, because you don't want people walking in. However, I'm sure however, if it's a nice door set up that people can go in and out on a consistent basis, so then that would be okay. The kol karpef shu samach lebeso. And some say that any karpaf which is close to his house, mikri hukaf ladira, if it's attached to his house, if he has a big yard or something like that, then is considered hukaf ladira. He daite eluya, because when he built the house, when he built the thing, however, so the order of how he built it doesn't make a difference. And some say also, even in cities and things or whatever, even if they went ahead and they decided to build a building or put a wall first and then put up the building or put up the house, whatever it is, then that wasn't the plan, so that's okay. Yesh chokim b'zeh, and some people, some are cholok on the shita, however, so therefore, this din of the karpaf being next to the house is enough. Shabura says that skima achonim halacha k'dei yazu, that really it has to be that it was opened up before, but the poskim do say it doesn't make a difference. The way you built it doesn't make such a difference if it was in the plans. The question is, if a person went ahead, the case over here is that you had a park where you had some sort of area, like some sort of large yard or large, I don't know, pond, whatever it is, and then you person built a house next to it. So the fact that you built a house next to it doesn't mean it's hukaf ladira, and that's the ishchokim, and that's how we generally paskin. The Chazon Ish has an interesting chumrah, which any of the people making the Erevin and want to are makbid on if they're makbid on the chumras of the Chazon Ish, that the Chazon Ish holds that if you have a karpef in the middle of your eruv, which is not hukuf l'dira, then it kills the whole eruv. If it's attached to the rest of the or it's a hukuf at all, whatever. If it's attached to the rest of the eruv, then construction site. You have things like that, then it ruins the whole eruv. So therefore, people who are they have to separate it. People who are trying to make a super chumras of the Chazon Ish, they have to separate it from the rest of the eruv for it to be, otherwise it would levatel everything. I don't think. I mean, that's the chumras of the Chazon Ish. I don't know. We don't think the other poskim. Definitely the regular Eruvin aren't makbid for this, and it's a chumrah.
I think in America,
when it comes to Eruvin, people try to be as makbid as possible. But I don't know if everyone goes around and walls off construction sites, and cheshbonos of construction sites and things, and all these types of things. It depends on the Eruv. Obviously, there are better Eruvin than other Eruvin.
Is it a construction site for Shulchan Aruch of the deer? You're making a deer there.
You're making it, yeah, but right now there's no deer there. So Karpef is not only if there's a house, if there's no house there b'chlal.
The deer has to be a house.
Yeah, or a building, but if there's nothing there right now, I think construction site. But let's say there's a forest in the middle of the city, or let's say there's a big empty area. Lake, whatever it is, the Shaila is a park, public park. I know in Miller it's called public park, and the hukaf l'dir. Pashas is, that l'char is hukaf l'dir because everyone uses it. Even if it's not next to a house, or it's not wall, whatever. But if you have just a big, useless area, so then that would be a problem. That would be a problem according to the Chazon Ish, which a lot of, big Eruvin in cities, I don't know how much they're makbid on that or not. That's a little bit, I'm not a bucky in national construction, but, that's where this would come in. It's like you have a wild area, undeveloped area, things like that. That's what, that would be an issue.
So a construction site, if it's not hukaf l'dira, and then they finish the building, so that doesn't remain not hukaf l'dira?
Well, it depends what they put I'll tell you what gets complicated. You're talking about hukaf l'dira if there's a wall around it. If there's no,
this one right here.
This one right here, it is walled. It is taka walled off.
And then they're going to build the building.
Yeah, but they could go. But we're going to see if you refresh the walls, and that in Sif Bays, we have time. If you another minute or two, I'll just read I'm going to finish Sif Bays. Let's see what we can do. Man nikra mukaf l'dira zeh shabana bo beis dira. That what's called mukaf l'dira. That's if you build a house. Or shapasach lo pesach bebeisa, or you open the pesach from his house or from any other living area into it. V'yachar chekifo, then you put a wall, and then you built a wall around. That's mukaf l'dira. Meaning, it doesn't have to have a house inside, as long as it was planned to go ahead and be usable, so that's hukaf l'dira. V'im haya mukaf shelo l'shem dira, if they put a wall around it for safety or for whatever it was, a l'shem dira, roita l'hakifa l'dira, and you want to go ahead, you want to change its status, ain't tzarich lifrot skula, you don't have to knock the whole wall down, el yifrot b'pirtza, liyosa me'asara, you knock a hole in it bigger than 10 amos, Nimtza bais pasuach bo below hekef, and it's just considered an open. The wall is batel, considered an open, just a big opening. The yachzav yigdor appears sakula, and you put it up, and you go ahead and fence it up again. Oh, ama yisera al yud amos, or if it's yud amos, you add another ama to it, because if it's already an opening of yud amos, you just knock off another ama. The esra amos pesach, and the esra amos is one pesach. Rehu pasuach. It was self hukaf, it was open, and then you enclosed it, and that's okay. In paratz ama v'gadra, if you broke an ama, if you open up an ama and then you closed it up, v'chazor paratz ama, if you keep on doing that, eitzu mashagadar v'chazor asakin asher shimila asara mutter. If you don't want to knock open a whole area, you can do piece, and that's okay. Hagav in kasha alav If it's a kaisel, if it can't really knock the wall down, Eish oim the yachol aniach offer itzel a kaisel, which it's them. You can build up the ground next to the kaisel from both sides. Actually, smart a kaisel goiva yud until it's less than sticking out. It's less than sort of trachim. Orach offer orach of midalid orach yud amos orach kaisel has to be that there's enough dirt that it's down amos to the side, and then it turns into like the ground, and then have a small wall. Because the wall has to be Yotzar Tvachim. In Ein Begoiva offer Eser, if it's not 10 Tvachim high, in Kein Habi Ki'ilu Paretz Shema Koisel, then it's Ki'ilu, the Koisel is, it's destroyed. Shal Nishar Shem Sham Gvoa Eser Lamala, I mean, offer, there's no 10 Tvachim higher than the dirt. Habi Kakaris, Karpef, that's considered like the ground of the Karpef. Im Choizer, Lokeach Misham Achakach, for again, if the heel of the dirt is 10 tefachim, it also turns into a wall. So it has to be that less than 10 tefachim, that's mevatel. And Shabbos achas, since he left it at one Shabbos, it's batel, that's okay. Yeshcholkin, the offer will have a bittul, putting dirt that doesn't work. And then also the means he has to mamish mevatel it completely. There's also like in Sukkah, there's a discussion about that, about raising the floor and stuff and whatever. Some say that's based on the Rosh in Sukkah. So therefore there is a machlokas with that. The Gra, the Shittas Gra is that you can build a new fence on top of the old one, and that would be considered hukuf l'dira. The problem is if that fence falls down, then the other fence is there, then you have a problem. And we'll just do Gimel Tel Gavor Asara Dino Karpef. And if you have a hill, which is a hill or higher than that, then that's considered Karpef in itself. So if you have a hill in the middle of a city, in the middle of an Eruv, that's considered a Karpef. And there's a shaila of it's not if it's not mutz to metaltal in that area. And you get into shailas of Eruvin in city, if they have a wilderness in the middle of the city, things like that. They're not just like Central Park, but they have, for instance, in LA they have, mountains in the middle of the city, and they have, other, depends on the cities, they have wild areas. So if it's a hill, then it's a dinah karpef, and then, obviously here is a hukuf or not hukuf, it's a hill, but it's also the metaltal there, and Dal Amos.